But if we're not conditioning ourselves for the small wins and keeping that target that you wrote down here and put it in front of you on a daily basis on your mirror, if you're not talking to it and going back through your book and looking at it on a daily, the odds of you hitting it will be diminished. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Araujo. As you're coming on board, please say hi, please check in, and I have a really great topic today, which is setting targets, right? Working towards something, working towards your targets. And I was just working on my 12-week targets book, and I really want to emphasize how important this has been in part of my life. Understanding that, the game of life is about setting targets and working towards something. Oftentimes what we'll do is we'll forget how important that is and just kind of gravitate through life. As a matter of fact, I have a gentleman that is not even part of our brokerage coming in today because I've known him for a while. And he's not in a place of power right now. And that's what happens when we just let, life just kind of pass you by. Not setting any real ambitions, any real goals for your body, any real goals for your marriage or how you want to raise your kids. When you're just going through the motions of your business, there's going to be a point where you just burn out, where it doesn't really matter anymore, where we start thinking, what's the point? And, when I talk about the challenge-based lifestyle, which is a target-based lifestyle, is about setting targets and then working towards them. Because it does something to your mind where it's like, okay, I see what I want to accomplish. And it almost gives yourself a path to be able to achieve it. Without that, we just kind of go through the motions. We don't know what's a win, what's not. And for me, it's very important that I win on a daily basis, that I condition myself that I am going to win, whatever the case may be, whether it's a small win of just waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, whether it's a small win of drinking a green smoothie, which I just completed, or doing a meditation session, reaching out to potential agents that want to join AZ and Associates, congratulating a lot of you that are far exceeding what you thought was possible for your careers, and being in those conversations with my spouse, right, and my kids. And today I had a very great conversation with my daughter about, making sure things are not an option. I think that was the biggest thing that I ever got from my coach, was like realizing that when things become an option, you're going to allow it to be an option. When things become an option, you allow it to become an option. Now, let me explain. What we're doing here with the target-based period is something that my coach tracked for me. I was tracked every week, and we had to. It's nearly impossible for me to track your progress, right? That's something that you have to take responsibility on. But I paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for someone to kind of just hold me accountable to just that. And I remember one time I was just like, man, I think I'm just not as committed. I'm not as committed of doing what I'm supposed to do every day, of keeping track of it. I know that I'm doing it, but keeping track of it is another thing. And what it did is really showcase to me that what I thought I was doing on a daily basis wasn't really a reality. Because I couldn't track it, I oftentimes gave myself the credit for things that I didn't do. So when we talked about working on your body, being balanced in business, there were some times where I just didn't do what I was supposed to do for my business, but yet I gave myself credit because I thought I would just do it every day. But when you track it, it's hard to argue the black and white results. Either you did it or you didn't do it. And I was really coming down on myself because I stopped keeping track of it. And I said, you know what? I'm not committed. And he said, it's not that you're not committed. It's that you allowed it to be an option. Stop making it an option. And that resonated so deeply with me, because when we say we're going to do something and then we don't, it's because we gave ourselves an option, an out, a way to get out. Can you do me a favor and close the door there, please? And that's the way we got to look at it. So this morning I was talking to my daughter, and she had a game this week, and they did okay. They went 2-2. And on the third game, she was taken out. And another person was put in a position. And I was sitting back, and I was a little disappointed because I saw Abigail to be taken out for something she knows how to do. She knows how to serve. She knows how to serve very well. As a matter of fact, last year, she served an entire game, 25 points, 25 serves, and won the game 25-0. So I know she has the skill set to be able to accomplish that. And she was taken out. We were having this conversation this morning. I said, why do you think you were taken out? She's like, well, it's because I only missed one serve. And, I started telling her that it's not just that one serve. It's not that one phone call you failed to make. It's not that one phone call that you failed to return, or that text message or the social media post that you failed to do. It's not just that. We're seeing it at a surface level. There's bigger ramifications that come from that. For her, missing that one serve meant that you lose the momentum. You lose the momentum of creating more points or an opportunity for your team to win because of that 1 point missed. And I told her, babe, it's not that you can't serve, but she's allowed it to be an option. She was a little confused, like, what do you mean? I said, you've done this thousands and thousands of times. But because you allow it to only be that one serve, Dad, I only missed that one serve. The emphasis is like, it's just one little thing. But the realities are, the importance and the significance of that is now diminished. When we have to look at the other side and realize that it's very important to do what we say and not allow it to be an option. She can go an entire game and serve 25 points. But because the importance is diminished for your post that you put every single day, we don't see the deeper ramifications. The momentum you lose for your own business when you decide not to do the small things, the small wins. So today, as you're going through the day and you decide and you put everything that you have to do because there's a minimum requirement, understand you diminish the importance of it, and you've allowed it to be an option. And it's not because it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're not committed. It's because you've allowed it to be an option. She looks at me and she's like, I get it. Because these small wins will culminate into bigger results. Otherwise, you just kill the momentum. And these targets, everyone was excited about tracking their progression, but very few of you are actually progressing the way you thought, would like to. And when we correlate that to your actual results, you're like, well, I haven't grown as much as I thought I would. And the realities come to the small deposits, the small steps we decide to do on a daily basis. On Saturday, we went out for a 5-mile run. And I'm going to tell you how important it is to just set the small targets and condition yourself to win. I've only taken up this sport for the last month and a half. Before that, it's been 2 years since I, ran on the streets. It's been a long time. And I remember the first time I ran, I felt like I was going to keel over and start throwing up, right? It was just too difficult for me. It was painful on my shins. It was painful on my legs. And I remember running a 10-minute mile, somewhere near a 10-minute mile. And I felt pretty good. And I was like, well, I haven't done this in a while. That's pretty good. But realizing I can get better is what motivated me to continue to go after it. So twice a week, we would go out. And every time, I would set the small targets to go after those wins. I was excited about hitting a 9-minute mile, an 8:30-minute mile for 5 miles, an 8-minute mile. But I proclaimed something 2 weeks ago that I said, I'm going to hit 7 minutes and 30 seconds per mile for 5 miles. And again, I've only started this again for a month and a half, if even that. But I saw what I wanted. If you don't see what you want for your business, you're just going to go through the motions. If you don't realize this week that you have to get an escrow, that you have to get prospects, you're just going to go through the motions. Being very specific about what you want will allow you to work towards it. Otherwise, you're just going through the flow of things, going through the motions. And then we'll find ourselves in a place where we're like, what just happened? How come I'm not getting what I want? Well, you can't get what you want if you're not specific about what it is that you do truly want. So I'm looking at this time frame that was nearly impossible for me about a month ago. And I said, I'm going to hit 730 a mile for 5 miles. I'm going to do it. I proclaimed it. I told others what I was going to do. I posted it. And I kept working towards it. And Saturday, as we had 15 of our agents show up, I knew that was the day I was going to hit it. And it wasn't easy. And here's one of the many reasons why we're not able to hit what we want. And I wrote them down. Number one, the level of effort and level of thinking it will take to actually achieve it. So when you proclaim what you want here for the next 12 weeks and you said, I want to make $50,000, and we're nowhere near that, it's because you underestimated the level and the effort of what it's going to take to succeed. That's it. Does it mean you're not capable of doing that? I would say you're absolutely more than capable of doing it. But if we're not conditioning ourselves for the small wins and keeping that target that you wrote down here and put it in front of you on a daily basis on your mirror, if you're not talking to it and going back through your book and looking at it on a daily, the odds of you hitting it will be diminished. Setting these targets is about actually accomplishing it. But understanding there's a certain level of effort and a certain level of thinking in order for you to get it. And if you think that you can do it without becoming an authority in the space, you're wrong. You're going to have to become this marketer in order for you to achieve it. Because the number one obstacle that small businesses face, the number one obstacle that you as a realtor face is obscurity. Obscurity means who knows you? Who knows what you do? It's the lack of all that. It's people not knowing who you are. That's obscurity. Not knowing how experienced you are or how successful you are at doing it. That's obscurity. And here's the thing. I think getting into this business, a lot of us are like, well, there's a potential of making a lot of money. But underestimating how much action it's going to take and that is required is what demotivates some people. They just feel it's something that they cannot accomplish, not realizing that all of us have to take a certain level of action to succeed. It's not that you're different. Is that the action remains the same. There's a certain level of action that everyone must take in order to meet a certain level of success. $3 million producers have to take a certain level of action to meet that $3 million success. Versus the $10 million producer, their actions are probably 5 times that of a $3 million producer. And the best way to be able to double your business is to double your actions, double your marketing, double your efforts. And I get we're in this age of like technology can solve it all. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your actions, the work. Now, here's the other thing. We all know the level of effort and the level of thinking is going to require to succeed. And underestimating how much action is required, but finally, underestimating the amount of adversity that it will take to overcome. That's also a big major blow to a lot of small businesses, a lot of realtors in this game. They can't overcome the adversity. They underestimated what it was going to require for them to overcome that. And oftentimes it's a mental game. Just like Abigail at the serving line. It's a mental game. She knows how to do it. You know what to do. But again, we allow it to be an option. And when she's on that serving line, she sees herself less than being able to overcome that obstacle. So as you start going through this week, really start honing in on whatever you're going through in business. It's required. If your deals fall through, that's what's required. There's some lessons to be learned. But it doesn't mean you reduce your target. It doesn't mean that you reduce your ambitions. Because you've ingrained that. You did not allow that to be an option. If you say, I'm going to make 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever it may be for the quarter, don't make excuses when you don't hit it. Don't lower your standard and say, well, I'm not good enough to do that. I want you to do what will work for you each and every time. Increase your efforts. Increase your efforts. So this week is a brand new week. We can go through this process, and I'm going to challenge you to go through this process of the 12-week target book. Just complete what is required today for your body, for your family, and for your business. Learn how to win on a daily. Those daily wins will accumulate to a weekly win. Maybe you get an escrow this week, a new listing. Maybe that deal finally closes. Those are wins. But it's on you if you allow it to be an option or not. But setting the clear targets of what's the win today. And today I am on week number 8. Week number 8. And I've set clear targets of what is considered a win for the week. What is that for you? If you have a couple pre-quals, a win may be to put one of those under escrow. If you have a listing appointment, a win for you this week might be to get the listing. See yourself there. But you won't be able to do this if you're not clear about what you want. What are you guys hearing in this conversation? It's a lot of lessons, being learned of just going out and going after it, right? I felt so excited, elated almost, of understanding that when I put my mind to something, I'm going to accomplish it. It's like this certainty that resonates deeply within me. Because I've learned how to take the small wins. And at 40 years old, to do what I'm doing, I would say most are unable to do what I'm doing. And that makes me feel good. Not because I'm better than, because I continue to lean into what I know I'm capable of. That's why. And it's not about comparison. It's about realizing that I'm a badass. And that's available to everyone. It's available to you. But if you're not able to separate yourself on what it means to have a relationship that's significant, that matters at home, if you're not able to rise above the rest on how to parent and stay connected with your kids, if you're not able to rise above the average in business, then there's some things that we're not processing correctly. You're just living average. Because every one of us is capable of living an extraordinary life. And the key to all this is consistency. That's it. So look at all facets of your life. Are you playing within the margins of what everybody else is playing? Because I refuse to. I'm not within the margins of how everyone else is playing. Because I'm clear about what I want. And improving my game in all aspects of my life is part of that clarity. So look at all aspects of your life right now and see where you fall within those margins. Are you like everyone else? Are you like no one else? That's where it really matters. But that's taking full responsibility of your actions on the daily. Setting clear targets and then going after it. relentlessly, with conviction, with fire, knowing that you're going to accomplish it. You have to take yourself outside of those margins. It is your responsibility. Succeeding is a responsibility that is on you and solely you. We cannot put this on our spouses. We cannot put this on our kids or anyone else. That is a responsibility that you have 100% control of. There is no other option. Responsibility is the only option. Success is the only option. I agree 100% with you, AZ. It is important to set clear targets for all aspects of your life, or you don't know what you're reaching for. I've been in a place where I was lost. I was miserable. It's misery festering on a daily. It's getting up in the morning and wanting to go back into my bed within seconds. It's dark. It's painful. And it's something that can last for years. And as we're waiting for something grand to happen, we diminish any type of success we had prior to that. We gain the weight. We increase maybe the alcoholic beverages. We stop the momentum for our business, and we disconnect with our family. It's what happens. Clear targets is what allowed me to get out of that pit and stay out. And something as just setting a time frame for myself gets me fired up. Setting sales numbers for my business fires me up because I'm working towards something. That's what it's about. Cindy, stay focused on what you want until it's achieved. It's when you take your eye off the goal, you find yourself struggling. In any area, aspect of your life, we all have the same 24 hours a day. It's how you spend your minutes and hours that make you unique. That truly is it. So today, just do something very, very simple for yourself. Just set some clear targets of what you want to accomplish this week. And I'm not asking you to keep track for 12 weeks right now. I'm just keep asking you to keep track for today. And then I'll ask the same thing of you tomorrow. But learn to understand what a win entails. Because the opportunity will come to those that are prepared. I am prepared mentally, physically, internally. I am prepared for what's coming my way. And I understand I'm not underestimating the action that it's going to require. I know I'm still behind the ball on certain things, but I'm working towards it. But I also understand that I'm not going to underestimate the adversity. It's going to be tough. It's going to be painful. But I have the capacity through the wins, through the reps of being able to overcome. You have that within you. Find that. The only way to discover that is to do the work on you every single day. On your business, for your family. You know what to do. We have a guideline here. Follow this. I already know exactly what I'm going to accomplish by Friday. I know what it's going to take to win, and I'm going to go after it. And I'm going to make another proclamation here for you guys. I am going to get a 7:15 minute mile very quickly, very soon. I'm going to push myself 7:15 a mile for 5 miles. And after that, I'm going to go for 7. But right now, I just need to get the small wins. I'm going to go from 7:30 to 7:15, and then 7:15 to 7. It's going to happen. It may not happen here in the next couple of weeks, but it's going to happen. Guys, that's all I have for you for this episode of Mindset Mastery. And I have one more. What's the one thing you can do every day? It's that simple. That's it. It's funny how we try to overcomplicate things, right, Michelle? It's just part of our nature. Everything has to be difficult. And, you know, I realize one thing, that I'm unable to tackle on the big things if I'm unable to overcome the small ones. That's the game right there. All right, guys, that's all I got, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.